third presenter is Professor Mari Perera. Professor Mari Perera is a professor in Humanities Education, University of Colombo. She received a primary and secondary education from Good Shepherd Convent, Panadura and Holy Family Convent, Colombo, respectively, and graduated from University of Perera, specializing in languages. She obtained 2 master's degrees from University of Colombo, Master of Science in Applied Psychology and Master of Philosophy in Education. Later, she obtained her PhD in Education with specialization in teaching of English to speakers of other languages from the University of Wollongong, Australia. In addition, she has obtained the postgraduate diploma in Education, teaching of English as a second language from the University of Colombo, and a certificate of the accreditation of senior teachers in higher education from the Staff and Educational Development Association of UK. She has over 25 years of experience in teaching and research. Professor Perera has had several administrative positions in the University of Colombo. She was the Dean of the Faculty of Education, University of Colombo, for 3 years, from 2010 to 2013, and had been the head of the Department of Humanities Education of the same university for 7 years, and the director of the Staff Development Center, University of Colombo. I personally know that she contributed immensely as the director of the Staff Development Center. Professor Perera has served in a number of national level committees in the areas of education and teaching of languages. Her latest international publication was published by Palgrave Macmillan in this year, 2014, as a chapter on science education in Sri Lanka. She has won several research grants, including the grant she received to follow her doctoral studies. She has also been the principal writer of the National Assessment Reports of the National Assessments conducted by the NEREC, the National Educational Research and Evaluation Committee of the Faculty of Education, since 2009. I am pleased to invite Professor Perera to make a presentation.
Thank you, Madam. Madam Chairperson, the members of the head table, and the participants. Being from the Faculty of Education, my topic is expanding educational horizons for sustainable development. And it's going to be a more practical-based presentation. So let me give you an overview of my presentation first. I will define what is known as education for sustainable development, why education for sustainable development is needed, the key components of education for sustainable development, our achievements so far, and the challenges and way forward. So let me first define what is sustainable development. There are many definitions on sustainable development, but I prefer to take the very first definition given by the World Commission on Environment and Development, which says sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. If we consume everything, if we destroy everything, there won't be a future for the future generation. So that is what is meant by sustainable development. So the key components of the sustainable development is that why this concept became important is with the economic development, the environment and the social factors were getting affected. So people thought, well, it is inevitable. When there is development, the environment will get affected, so can't help. But now we believe that that has adverse effect. So there must be a balance between the development, economic development, environment development, and the social development. And we can add many more to that. The spiritual development, mental development, all that can be added to that. So then, critical challenges, but 1987 the concept came, but still we continue to face these challenges. Human-induced climate change, the rapid depletion of natural resources, the frequency of natural disasters, the spread of old and new infectious diseases, dengue, all these, the loss of biodiversity, the violation of human rights, the social aspects, increased poverty, dependency of our economic systems on continuous growth in consumerism. So the list goes on. So then what can we do about it? So there comes the how to overcome the challenge. So then is education that comes into it. As Nelson Mandela said, education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. So we have to use education thought to change the world. So therefore, UNESCO declared a decade, United Nations Decade of Education for Sustainable Development, 2005 to 2014. So it is significant that we are having this conference at the end of 2014 to talk about sustainability. So in midway through this decade, there was an evaluation done by the UNESCO. So now it's again time for us to look back and see how much we have achieved. So education for sustainable development means it allows every human being to acquire the knowledge, skills, attitudes and values necessary to shape a sustainable future. Note my bold letters. It's not only knowledge, skills, attitudes and values. So education for sustainable means including key sustainable development issues into teaching and learning. For example, climate change, disaster risk reduction, all those issues that we brought out, those should come into the curriculum. So goals of ESD as mentioned by it's mentioned in the UNESCO report as well as chapter 36 of the Agenda 21, improve basic education. They are emphasizing on basic education because people need to have at least a basic literacy level to understand this. Reorient existing education to address sustainable development. Reorient what is available to reorient them to include these issues. Develop public understanding and awareness. Train people to make use of this knowledge. So I'll be coming back to this later. So approaches to ESD, Education for Sustainable Development. There are two basic things that we can do. Create new courses. It is happening. We have postgraduate diplomas in environmental development, postgraduate diploma in drug abuse, even in undergraduate courses. There are units related to that. Then the second one is use themes in existing courses. It is already there. When you are teaching medicine, what are the things that can be related to this health-related issues? Management, what are the things that is related? Economics, what are the things that is related? So that is what is meant by this. Then, when we come back, now we look at our achievements in relation to these expanding horizons. Basic education, they said basic education is necessary. So in Sri Lanka, as Professor Indralal also said, net enrollment is good. We have 96% primary net enrollment. So the dropout starts after. So basic education is all right. Then reorienting education, new courses have come up all over the world. So when you do a Google search in 2005, that is mid-level of that decade, 89,000 websites. In 2009, 2,15,000. Yesterday when I looked at it, you can see 47,08,000.